Alright, I've set up I don't know what to call it, a distributed series of matter in a contained volume defined by a circumference boundary as held together by the two positive and negative sides. I guess is a good enough start. So this side is positive, that side is negative. There's, I don't know what that is, 2.5 inch gap, 3-inch gap on either side, right? Across the center. Within the circumference, there's various things just set up in such fashion that when I power it, the discharge can arbitrarily take multiple paths. Okay, so let's see if I can get a shot where the camera is not in the way. So here's the top-down view. This is a a gouging rod, graphite rod. It's a resistor that's got a gap in the gouging rod. This is just a very low resistance, high, probably high current, I guess, coil. That's a copper end cap that's filled with tin with a piece of copper wire embedded in the middle of the tin, not touching the copper, which then comes up to an NE2 bulb. Alright, NE2 bulb, which comes down and there's a small gap. Let's see. A small gap, or there was a small gap. Looks like it's actually touching. Put that back up. So there's a little gap there. That big chunk of rock here is chalcopyrite, and this is a GDT. It's a 470 volt GDT, and then just a couple of pith balls local to the chalcopyrite to show. So that's what's in there. Go and turn it on and watch how it kind of arbitrarily distributes. You can see that even when it doesn't take this path through this to that, up across the neon bulb, through there, through the GDT to that side, the NE2 is still lit up. And it's at its brightest before the discharge results. When the discharge results is when the bulb dims, and then it shoots back to its brightness. And I don't know if you could pick up the little threadies that were showing up over there on the gap. Let's see if I can get in there close. So, where's my finger? There it is. So that's the gap down there. Let's see if I can show you. See the threading? That thready results even when it's not walking that path for the main discharge. That thready still goes through that whole path, but the discharge actually occurs over here on this leg. Right, so it's coming through on this leg, and you still get the flash over there. So there's a distributed electrostatic high voltage there, which is seeking path through. It generally finds the path through the gouging rod and through the resistor here, so either directly to the far side or off through this resistance. And then occasionally it'll fire off through here, hit that, run up through the LET, or the NE2 bulb, hit the chalco, and then ride across the GDT to the far side, which is a much more complex path, right? But that path can be adjusted by varying the gap at any one of these points. If that gap changes, the potentiality for the discharge to flow through the other path, the alternate path, increases. right? So it's just distributed away. So distributed array conductivity kind of testing, I guess, to try and see how the behavior works. And the behavior in a disparate dipole electrostatically charged field is for the field to try and seek to establish a flow between the two source points, and that flow results in a magnetic current at 90 degrees, or a magnetic field that's located at 90 degrees to the electric field, which has established the disparate dipole. So I don't know if this helps spatially relate how solar systems would see flares on occasion from a sun or no flares from a sun. It's all due to tension. So something's happened where the sun's moved into a position where the conductivity between that vector at that moment in time for its placement has increased so that it's able to then erupt a charge. And that charge is the thing trying to go to the other point that's causing the tension to be present in that exceeding amount at that place and time, to try and balance it back to a relative zero of difference in potential, in volt potential. And it does that via the magnetic function, which is what carries the current, as that current is what then brings the disparity to a relative zero between the 2 points, or it tries to. So the universe is basically a big engine that's constantly dephased via the volts that are setting up where things are moving to, and the amps that are carrying out where things are catching up to. And there's always just some amount of lag somewhere in there. Or at least that's an idea. So I suppose the next thing to do is to set up a few different capacities, set up adjustable octopus-like arms off of those capacities at different sizes, and then just see how charge collects across multiple capacities inside the defined chamber volume of that area right there. So I guess we'll get around to that at some point.